The temperature just hit 40 below zero. At this point, the liquid in your eyes starts to freeze. If you blink too slowly, you are standing in a white void with two options. Option A is that $500 four-season high-tech mountaineering tent you bought because the guy at the outdoor store said it was bomb-proof. Option B is a pile of frozen water on the ground. Most people choose the tent. Most people are idiots. That tent is just a nylon coffin with a zipper. It has an insulation value of basically zero. The wind will strip the heat right out of your shivering body until your heart stops. The snow, on the other hand, is the best insulator nature ever invented. If you know the physics, that pile of ice can keep you warm enough to sit around in a t-shirt while the storm outside freezes mercury. Welcome to the thermodynamics of the igloo. We are going to survive this using geometry, phase changes, and the specific heat capacity of air. Phase 1, the sintering trap. The myth is that you can just pile up snow and dig a hole. The reality is that loose snow is a powder, not a solid. If you dig into a drift, it will collapse, and you will suffocate in a white tomb. The problem is that fresh snow lacks structural integrity. Because the ice crystals are sharp and individual, they don't bond. The fix is a process called sintering. You need to work harden the material. You don't need tools, you need violence. You stomp out a circle in the snow. You beat the snow with your boots or a shovel. You are mechanically breaking the arms off the snowflakes. When you stop, physics takes over. The broken crystals instantly begin to bond. At the molecular level, to reduce their surface area, this is called sintering. You are literally making concrete out of water. You must wait 30 minutes for this to set. If you cut corners here, you die. The outcome is a quarry of structural foam that can stop a bullet, or more importantly, the wind. Phase 2, the geometry of compression. The myth is that walls should go straight up like a house. The reality is that gravity hates vertical snow walls. If you build a cylinder and try to cap it, the roof falls in. The fix is the catenary spiral. You don't stack blocks, you build a continuous ramp. You cut your first row of blocks, but then you slice them at an angle to create a slope. Now every single block you place rests on the one below it, and the one beside it. You have 3 points of contact. Friction and gravity lock them in place. As you spiral upward, you lean the blocks in at a harsh angle. Because of the spiral, they defy gravity. They want to fall in, but the block beside them holds them up. You are building a self-supporting dome that gets stronger the more snow you pile on top of it. This creates a shape that wind flows over, pressing the structure into the ground rather than blowing it over. Phase 3, the cold sink. The myth is that the inside of the igloo is one uniform temperature. The reality is that heat rises and cold sinks. It is density physics 101. In a tent, the cold air sits on the floor, which is exactly where you are sleeping. You are a heat source lying in a cold puddle. The fix is to engineer a drain for the cold air. You dig the entrance tunnel significantly lower than the floor of the igloo. You create a trench inside. The sleeping platform must be raised at least 2 feet above the entrance tunnel. Here is what happens. Your body generates heat, about 100 watts of energy, roughly the same as a light bulb. That heat rises and gets trapped in the dome. The cold air, which is heavier, flows down off the sleeping platform and sinks into the entrance tunnel. You are literally building a plumbing system for cold air. It flows away from you, leaving you in a pocket of rising warm air. Phase 4, the phase change barrier. The myth is that melting walls means the shelter is failing. The reality is that a little melting is exactly what you need. As you sit inside, your body heat starts to melt the inner layer of the snow. This sounds bad, but it's actually perfect. The water melts, gets absorbed by the porous snow behind it, and refreezes. The fix is to regulate this glaze. This creates a thin, airtight ice shell. On the inside of the igloo, this shell seals the wind out completely and reflects your radiant body heat back at you. You are turning the room into a mirrored thermos. The walls effectively have an R value, a measure of thermal resistance, that is exponentially higher than your nylon tent. With just a single candle burning inside, the internal temperature can rise to 40 or 50 degrees above zero. Even if it is minus 40 outside, you can take your gloves off. Phase 5, psychological warfare. The myth is that you want to be seen to be rescued. The reality in a collapse scenario is that being seen means being looted. A lit-up igloo at night is a giant glowing lantern. The snow diffuses the light, turning your shelter into a beacon visible for miles. The psychological fix is the dead camp decoy. You take that expensive, useless nylon tent from the beginning and set it up 50 yards away. You leave it empty, maybe with a cheap flashlight turned on inside. Let the looters or the desperate neighbors raid the obvious tent. Meanwhile, you are in the igloo. To hide your glow, you line the interior wall with a black trash bag or a space blanket. Behind your candle, this blocks the light transmission through the snow walls. You become invisible. You are a ghost in the landscape. The outcome is that the threat attacks the decoy. While you sleep safely under 2 feet of bulletproof snow, Phase 6, the invisible killer. The myth is that a perfectly sealed room is the goal. The reality is that you are a carbon dioxide machine. If you seal the igloo too well with that ice glaze, you will suffocate. The carbon dioxide from your breath will pool in the structure, displacing the oxygen. The fix is the chimney vent. You must punch a small hole in the roof, usually offset from the center so snow doesn't fall on your face. This creates a chimney effect. Hot, stale air goes out the top. Fresh air gets pulled in through the low tunnel. It keeps the cycle moving. You have to check this vent constantly. If it frosts over, you won't wake up. The principle survival isn't about buying gear, it's about understanding energy. An igloo isn't a house, it is a machine that captures waste heat. You aren't trying to conquer the cold, you are manipulating it. You are taking the very thing that is trying to kill you, the snow, and forcing it to become your shield. The thermodynamics don't care about your comfort, but if you respect them, they will let you live. Just don't forget to poke the vent hole, or you'll just be a warm corpse in a very nice ice tomb.